Kaspa is on a monumental parabolic rise, and in this video, I will expose how I was able to find it at 4/100ths of a cent. My exact methodology will now be revealed. What is up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And today we are going to discuss the parabolic rise of Kaspa, and I will be answering the question of how I was able to have found this awesome cryptocurrency project when its price was only 4/100ths of a cent. Now, before we get into the details where I will reveal my methodology, please be aware that this is absolutely not financial advice. Anything I say in this video can cause you immediate financial destruction, and you could be left as a homeless bum living on government cheese in a back alley. All right, now that we have gotten that out of the way, things are getting very exciting with the Kaspa price and the progression that it has made in the last couple of months. And today, we're going to look at the parabolic growth and take it all the way back to the point when I found it. And I'm going to give you my exact methodology that I used, the research group methodology, which is found in my Telegram group. You can join me on Telegram, and I will share a link for you to join the research group that has a video that lists out the exact methodology that I use to find small cap gems. So, talking about the history of how I found this. We'll cover that first, and then we'll take a look at the chart and talk about this monumental growth, and we'll also include the reasons why Kaspa is such an amazing project that has great potential. All right, since the beginning, when I purchased Kaspa to today's high of over 14 cents, I am up about 35x. Now that's pretty amazing. When I first made my purchase of Kaspa, it was actually at 1.5/100ths of a cent. By the time I got done swing trading Kaspa, I decided it was time to sit steady in the boat and not play around taking the chances of selling it in swing trading to increase my bag. So I settled down at the final entry price of 4/100ths of a cent, where I bought approximately 102,000 Kaspa coins. Okay, so how did I find Kaspa? Was it luck? Did I just stumble upon it one day? Well, it was a little bit of luck, and it was a little bit of method. Now, what I have been doing for the last several years, and I've done this successfully, is use a specific methodology in order to find small cap gems that have the potential to move up 100x, maybe even 1,000x. Everybody wants to find those types of projects, but it's hard to sort through all of the clutter and find those projects that are truly worthy. So here are the steps that I took. Let me put my reading glasses on. Of how I found Kaspa. Well, with my methodology, there are 5 steps that I go through to evaluate whether or not a small cap, micro cap project, whatever you want to call it, has the potential to be the next 100x or 1000x. First, I scan the exchanges for micro caps. Now, back when I found Kaspa, it was listed on KuCoin. No, actually it was not. It was listed on TradeOgre and TXBit. When I scan for these micro caps, I look for the ones that are at 1/100th of a cent or less. And then I move on to step 2, which is check out the chart and one indicator that lets me know whether or not this coin is under consolidation, where people are accumulating, or if it is something that is nothing more than a pump and dump. When I look at the chart, I look for something that is lying low on the ground, like a lazy old dog deep in the south on a 110-degree day, where that lazy dog has no energy and he's just laying low and not making a sound before any serious accumulation has taken place. These flat charts kind of denote the fact that this project is not in play, so to say. Then I look at the indicator called the OBV. That stands for on balance volume. And this is an approximation that sometimes works and sometimes does not. But if a project is under steady accumulation, where there are several people that are buying bits and pieces of this project at a time over a long period of time, the OBV will be on the rise, which is supposed to tell you that there's more people accumulating rather than selling. So if it looks like there is a lot of accumulation going on, and that chart is laying low and it has not jumped up yet and gone into play, I move on to step 3. That's where I look at the tokenomics. What are tokenomics? Well, that means checking to see how many tokens or coins, if it has its own blockchain, how many are in the total supply, how many are in the max supply, and how many are in the circulating supply. So if those numbers are somewhat reasonable and not in the trillions or quadrillions like some of these meme projects are, then I can tell that this is a project that's being taken seriously. Kaspa has 28 billion in the max supply and 21 billion in the circulating supply. And that circulating supply will continue to go up as Kaspa coins are mined. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But with 21 billion coins at first, I thought that's kind of high. However, considering other aspects of the project, it was reasonable. As long as they have a reason for a high count, then I can move on to the next step. If the project has a max supply of, say, 1 trillion and a circulating supply of, say, 10 billion, I mark that off the list. And it's because of the fact that a nearly infinite amount of coins can be flooded into the circulating supply to put money in the hands of the developers that are in control of that project. So if it's reasonable, then I move on to step 4. I check the website, I check the social media activity, and I check the developers. First of all, I look at the website. Has it been put together in a clear and concise manner? Are there misspelled words, typographical errors? Does it look like intelligent people wrote it? Or does it look like a group of high school kids that are looking to make a quick buck threw it together? Then I look at the social media. What are people saying about the project on X? Are there any discussions taking place on Discord or Telegram? Are there any conversations taking place on Reddit? Looking at all of the social media sites, we can determine what the general consensus is about that project. If that looks fairly positive, then we go on to looking at the developers. How many active developers are on the project and what are their resumes? If there are no active developers on the project and you check out the GitHub, cross it off the list, it's a dead project. But if they are active and if you can check their backgrounds and they are legitimate people, we can move on to step 5. That's where I check the daily trading volume and see if there is somewhat of a significant amount of this token or coin that is being traded every day. Sometimes you can tell if there's wash trading going on, and that's where insiders buy and sell from themselves to pump up artificially the total trading volume. But when you look at that volume over a period of time, you can kind of determine whether or not it's real volume or if there are wash trades. So since Kaspa checked out for all 5 of those things, and it was at a price of around 1/100th of a cent, I decided it was time to start buying. Now, I first purchased, as I mentioned, at 0.0015. I had sold for a profit at 0.0025 or 0.003. After that point, I bought back in on the dip, sold again somewhere around 0.0045. I don't even remember, and I was waiting for price to come back down. By that time, after I started to study into the positive aspects of the Kaspa project, which I'll talk about next, I came to the decision that it was too risky to swing trade this project because I could get left behind. Nobody wants to get left behind. So what are these positive aspects of the Kaspa project? Well, I'll give you 6 that really impressed me. The first one was that it claimed to have solved the blockchain trilemma. That's pretty impressive. The only other project that I had discovered up until that point that possibly solved the blockchain trilemma was the KDA Kadena project. However, I believe that the block DAG style of the Kaspa project really and truly solved the blockchain trilemma. Number 2, Kaspa is based on the Ghost DAG Phantom protocol. And this is a scalable generalization of the Nakamoto consensus. Those of you who are in the know realize that that is the Bitcoin consensus. Very impressive. Number 3, this project was fair launched, crowdfunding style. So what does that mean? When you do a fair launch, that means that there is no pre-sale, there are no investors or institutional backers of the project, and that everyone has the equal opportunity to buy with no special privilege for anyone, including the person who founded the project or any of the developers. Also, there was no pre-sale and no pre-mining. You know how a lot of these projects start out and they tell you that if you sign up for the pre-sale, we're going to let you buy as much of this as you want before it's listed on an exchange. That usually ends in a rug pull. Sometimes you can get lucky and have a very low entry price with a pre-sale if it is an honest project. We did not have to worry about that with the Kaspa project. Last but not least, no early access. No one had early access to purchasing before the listing on the first exchange. Very impressive. Number 4, Kaspa has very quick transaction speeds and a high throughput ability. At the time of this video, I think that the block finalization for the Kaspa block DAG is the second fastest of any cryptocurrency project in the sector. I think it is number 2 to Solana, which has 0.4 of a second block completion time as opposed to I think it's 1 second for Kaspa. Okay, on to number 5. It is a high security proof of work project built on the Bitcoin concept. That means safety and security. It's not a proof of stake project. It's proof of work. So that means that we have the safety of Bitcoin and the ability to mine this coin. And if I'm not mistaken, Kaspa is the second most popular proof of work project for mining. It's very profitable. Number 6, last but not least, Kaspa is both an excellent store of value and it has financial application potential for spending, making purchases, and for its capability of smart contracts, which will be coming in the future. So when you add all of that up, it's pretty obvious that this is a serious project. Now, I looked into the developers, I looked into who it was that came up with the project, and I found out that it was Yonatan Sampolinsky. And I had a young man from Israel who joined my Crypto Pro Telegram group by the name of Aviad. He had watched one of my videos where I was questioning the background of Kaspa during the time that it was getting flooded most heavily. So he came into the group and told me that he knew Yonatan Sampolinsky personally since childhood and also was friends with Shai Wyborski, the head developer. Aviad actually got me into a private conversation with the four of us where I got to speak with Yonatan Sampolinsky myself and ask several questions. I asked him to come and guest appear on my channel, to which he declined. But I'm grateful for the fact that he spent the time to speak to me personally. I do hope to have Shai Wyborski to come on in the near future, as I will be lending him an invitation or sending out an invitation very soon for him to come and speak and answer some general questions. So these are real people, and that's a great thing when it comes to doing your due diligence and research to find out if a project is legitimate. So that is the reasons that I have for you why I am very confident about the future of this project. Now let's go to the TradingView chart and take a step back into history and take a look at what was going on when I first bought into this project. And as you can see, I've got some dots here. I'll have to zoom in so I can show you this, because once the project was listed on TradingView, I got very excited and I wanted to have the ability to do some TA, but with no prior trading history that was included with the data for the TradingView platform. I had to plot these points myself so I could get an idea of what possibly could be in store for us and when this first correction would happen. Now, my notes here kind of show you where I bought and sold several times. I bought at 0.0015. I think my first purchase was 66,000. You can see here, and I had a sale here somewhere around 4.5 cents, and then it corrected, and I said, okay, no more swing trading. I'm in for the long haul. Now, what happened next is history. We have to scrunch this chart down to even get a bird's eye view picture of this parabolic movement that has gone on. The first parabolic movement took us up to the all-time peak of 4 cents. And then we had a period of correction, a downward trending trading channel that took us back to this base level of support at 1.5 cents. Now, I was excited already because that was still 10x from my initial purchase point. And it was still maybe 2.5x from my final purchase at 0.004, where I picked up 102,000 Kaspa. And then we have a series of bull flags and more parabolic movement that proceeded from that low point. Now, the next peak was at 5 cents. That was a psychological level that it broke. And we quickly had another correction and a series of red candles on this 1 week chart. It surged again and broke the all-time high, going just above 5 cents, reaching 5.2 cents. And we only had 2 red candles on the weekly chart before the current parabolic move took us straight up in the air, all the way to just a notch under 15 cents. Now, it's not every day that you're able to jump on a project as early as I did and ride something all the way up to the moon. And this is not even the moon. I think this is just the beginning. I think that we'll probably correct at some point and maybe find a base of support above 10 cents. But we could launch on from the point we are at right now. Now, I think the sky's the limit for this project because the mining is really strong. And this is just the beginning stages because we're not really officially in a bull market. Now, my strategy and plan is to take profits once we are in the thick of the bull run. That's the time where Bitcoin goes up on a daily basis and goes on a romp where for weeks on end, we have higher high after higher high. Now, the mistake a lot of people make, which I made on the last two bull runs, was hanging on too long after the blow off top. But I'm going to have to resist the urge. I'm going to have to mitigate my greed and be responsible and take profits at a reasonable time point, which for me, my goal is to at least hang on to the majority of my Kaspa until we are in the range of $2 to $5. Some people think that Kaspa could reach $10 on this bull run. Now that's very aggressive. That's very forward speaking. Do your own due diligence because I don't have a crystal ball. However, I have the least amount of worry about my investment in Kaspa as compared to anything else I have ever invested in since being involved in cryptocurrency. My first exposure to Bitcoin was when the price was $1. Some of you who've been with me for a long time have heard my story about being interested in Bitcoin when it was around $1 and thinking, wow, this is cool. I can mine Bitcoin, this funky, cool electronic currency, and maybe buy some stuff on the web. But I got discouraged when I couldn't find any sites where I could buy stuff. So I lost interest. It wasn't until 2017 that I jumped back into crypto, discovering Bitcoin at the price of $6,000. And I've been kicking myself ever since then. Way back when, in 2011 or 2012? I don't remember what the year was, when Da Vinci Jeremy made his famous video where he was begging people to just get $1 of Bitcoin. I didn't even know who Da Vinci Jeremy was at the time, and I did not see his video. But being that I'm a computer nerd, I did know about Bitcoin. Well, I finally feel vindicated because I was able to buy Kaspa at such a low price. And this might give me that monumental gain that I missed out on with Bitcoin if I hold on to it long enough. But you better believe that even at the peak of the market, I'm not going to ever sell all of my Kaspa. I might sit on it for 10 years until I can get the same reward that I would have gotten had I bought into Bitcoin when it was only $1. What do you think Kaspa will do in the near future? I'd like you to post your comments below and tell me if you think we're going to correct down to 10 cents, or do you think the Kaspa is going to vault up to the 18 cents to 20 cents level? It's a flip of a coin. I don't know what's going to happen, and it's hard to predict when you're in a parabolic movement this early before a bull market. But Kaspa represents one of the most outstanding, profitable coins that are in the entire cryptocurrency sector, where it is outperforming everything, including Bitcoin itself. So post your comments on what you think we have in store for the short term and what your price projection is for the bull market peak. I'd love to hear about it. So that's my history of how I found Kaspa and my thoughts about why I'm so excited about the project. And if you want to come and join me in the Telegram group, you can click the link in the description, and we'd love to see you there. And until the next video, where I'll update you on the Kaspa technical analysis, we'll just chat it up in the comments. But most of all, I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Pro channel. And if you would like to help me defray these expensive costs of producing these videos, you may do so with the giving of a super thanks. So that's all I have for now. Thank you for joining me, and Carlton is out. Whoops. Let's try that again. Carlton is out. Okay, this is the last time I'm going to try this. Carlton is looking at his OBS and trying to figure out why the button isn't working. Okay, well, I guess we're not going to have any fancy exit this time. So let's just end it right here, and we will see you next time.